Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you. We appreciate all those listening through iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, on our website, our blog, or watching us on Kcaa Radio's website, or Tiki, or wherever you are on the interwebs. If you are driving in your car, you listen to 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM. And thanks for listening tonight to the show. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network. If you feel so in your heart, of course, just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. You can also go to the 90 Degree Show. You can also go to themarchingpodcast.com to see the very video of this show later on for our most recent podcast release. To catch up on our podcast, you can click on the Listen and Follow tab on our website and click on the channel you prefer. The last two channels that we've added now, and I've announced them over the last couple of weeks, we are on Stitcher and we are also on Google Play Music. So make sure that you get yourselves and subscribing today. All right. Tonight's show is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, SAY Marketing and Promotions, blockusup.com, and Kevin Pete of Remax Realty. We hope you enjoy the show. I always want to give a shout out to the people that helped donate to this cause to help the Marching Podcast clip get on this very platform. We welcome you to the show tonight. And tonight we are doing something special. Again, we are simmering, getting ready for the Honda Battle of the Bands at the end of the month. Last week we did a show with Bridget talking about Miles and Morehouse College. Tonight we are letting the world know this is kind of technically like the world premiere of this very podcast or this very programming. We have, and we've said it, AKA all the time, but the very one and only, I was going to say the magnanimous, but that was last year, the illustrious, and I always say AKA Prune Juice himself, but tonight you guys will find out why. There's the simmering, the suspense, boy, is dope. All right, with the very man, Rashad Waters, owner and founder of Block Band Music and Publishing. How are you doing in this podcast, sir?
What's happening, man? Good to talk to you again there, Joe. I don't think we've spoken, at least not this way, since last year, man. So it's been a whole year since I've seen you, man.
That's right, that's right.
Talk to you. I can't see you now. All I see is myself. Just for the viewers, I don't have anybody to look at here. Can't look at Christy, can't look at Bridget. I just look at myself here like I'm talking to a mirror. So I hope you guys are out there because it feels like I'm going insane just talking to myself.
It's all good. We can see you. All the people on the webs and everywhere can see you. And tonight is very special. So I met Rashad. I saw Rashad's posting on the Fifth Quarter. You guys make sure you go to thefifthquarter.com and check out all the forums. That is like the mecca of the band conversation that we always have. Facebook and all this is before Facebook. And we've told that story back in the 90s when I was marching. We didn't have the internet to go on and go back and forth with other people about bands and competitions. So our very own Christy Walker created the Fifth Quarter Forum, and that is still running today. I think I talked to her, and she said it's been 20-some years now, her doing her thing. So Rashad posts on the Fifth Quarter as Prune Juice. And Prune Juice, what Prune Juice does is he'll give the technical breakdown of the matchups. So I started doing the show, the 90 Degree Show, just like you guys listen to now. And I was always getting on the show. I would either bring up like a topic, like should we come up with a win-loss system or hazing or whatever it was. But then I started getting into the matchups. I would watch the YouTube video. Shout out to all the videographers out there. I always love what you do. And I would go on there and say, hey, this band was crunk, or this band was not crunk, or, you know, and I know the word today is turnt. So for all the young folks, turnt, we used to say crunk. All right. So Rashad, then we met. I don't know how we met, but it was either on Facebook or something. And then he said, "Man, I like the show." And then he started to come on the show. He started talking about all the stuff. I was like, "Is this prune juice?" And then later on, we basically, like they say, the rest is history. Rashad's been on the show. I don't even know how many years you've been on the show, Rashad, but it is a staple because a lot of folks was hammering me down just because I was giving an analysis on YouTube videos. So Rashad comes in, again, owner, founder of Block Band Music. You guys check out blockbandmusic.com, your first stop shop for all of the information. If you're a band director trying to get your band right, he'll write your songs, and he'll also get a lot of the auxiliary equipment that you need, spats and gloves, all that stuff like that. And so then we met Rashad, and then Rashad has been on the show, and then Rashad will come in and say, "You need to play more D flat," or you need, you need to he actually gives the actual music interpretation. So it's free from bias, or as much bias as humans can give, but he actually has the specific musical understanding or musical conversation. And I have to say that no one else out there is doing what Rashad is doing. So over the years, Rashad and I have also put out specific prunalysis, which is what we are doing tonight. This is now a prunalysis of the Magic City Classic, Alabama A&M versus Alabama State. So this is our first video cast of a prunalysis. And again, you guys check out blockbandmusic.com, check out themarchingpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitter because we also tweet out prunalysis episodes. We're still tweeting those things out. Rashad then gives not only analysis, but hey, maybe you guys should listen to this if you're not maybe musically inclined, or maybe look for these things. We actually give specific musical details of what we're talking about. So it ain't just me like they crunk, or they got crunk on, or they was cranking. Shout out to Bridget. They be cranking. You know what I'm saying? So tonight we're really excited to do the prunalysis of the 90 Degree Show, and you'll hear more about that and get into that. So Rashad, how are you doing, man? And how has your New Year's been so far?
New Year has been fantastic, man. And I also want to quickly give a shout out, if I can give a shout out to a day. I should say recognition for today's holiday. If you guys are watching this video in the future, today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Very important day, not just for African Americans, but for all of us as a nation. This man, and also others like him, not just him. We don't want to just recognize him and forget the accomplishments of others. But he and many other individuals, and not just African Americans, dedicate themselves, their lives, literally in his situation, to helping us to have equality. And it's because of that we're able to have a show just like this one, Joe. Where we're able to express our views, we're able to mingle with other individuals. I went to an event today where I saw just that. I thought it was an MLK event, but it turned out not to be one, really. It was just one that was associated with the event. It was a book fair. But what I saw there was young people of multiple different races all hanging out together like it was no big thing at all. And so even though it wasn't a Martin Luther King event, to me, I could see that it was, because it was truly fruition of his dream. And it was here in Durham. We spell it D-U-R-H-A-M, but it's not two syllables. It's not Durham. Durham. So recognizing Durham here. Got our own label and stuff. So I want you guys to know where I am. So feeling good, Joe. Hope you're doing the same, man.
Yeah, man. Today I took it easy with the kids. The kids got these Amazon iPads that they go crazy about. And, pretty much for them, if they're able to get on the iPads, man, they excited all day. So we got up, we did some homework, because, they're giving out homework to kids and parents nowadays from kindergarten starting on. So we did our homework and took some time, hung out. But then, I let them get on the iPads. I didn't go to work, but I still had to log in and do some stuff from home. So, I took it easy. But glad to see you, man. Excited about doing the prunalysis. And for all the listeners, this is a really, really good show because it's not as much of the commentary. Like I said, it's much more of the musical technical breakdown for all you music majors out there. So really excited to do the show. Lastly, before we get into it, I always bring attention to my shirt. I don't know if I've wore this shirt on, but this is our Sonic Boom Alumni Association shirt. And again, make sure everyone join your alumni association for your school. And if your band program does not have an alumni association, start one or try to get something going on where you can help support the band program, because we talk about bands so much. We love the bands, but we also want to have some type of organization to help support the bands. And we definitely have one as well. I think it's the 501c3 nonprofit or whatever it is that we started. But I know that we were able to give the band, I believe it was a check for $10,000 or $15,000 this year. Everybody pays dues. Okay. Yeah, everybody pays dues. And shout out to my crab brother Cortez Bryant. He's Lil Wayne's manager. I don't know if he's Lil Wayne's manager. I hadn't talked to him in a minute. Still, but I know Bryant Management. Straight out of New Orleans, and played the Z's. Crab 97, that's what he was doing, the Z's, and now he's doing his thing in the music business, but donated a check for $500,000 to the Sonic Boom and the band.
$500,000, wow.
Yeah, $500,000. And, of course, all of the intellectuals that we are there in the band, they said, man, we need to create an endowment, or we need to do something with the band so that we just don't spend this money on ignorance. So from there, people got their heads together and created the Alumni Association. And we also have an interview with that. I think Renee Baker was one of the first pioneers of this, but she pushed it through. We even have our own little social media site. And, of course, we have a group on Facebook. But major importance to keep the love going, but also have the financial support there for your band programs. So, yeah, this is the shirt. I think I wore another type of shirt a couple weeks ago, but this is the latest shirt that I have. So just bringing attention to that. But lastly, again, make sure you are a part of your alumni association. All right. Before we go to break and dive into the Prunalysis, and you guys here on the SoCal airwaves, the great Prune Juice himself, always say hello. It's like good luck now. Hello to my family. Hello, Alonso. Hello, Kennedy. And hello, Adriana. Hope you guys are at home doing well. It's party night tonight. Nobody has anything crazy to do. We're just going to get home and get into bed, get ready for school tomorrow. Rashad, you want to say hello to anybody before we get started?
Yeah, I just want to say hello to my family here. And you guys don't know it, Joe, but over the break, man, I got married, man. So, yeah, I know we've been talking about some stuff, but just want to go ahead and give a shout-out to my wife here, Storm. Black Panther, you know, he had this before, but he let it go. So it's all about you now, baby. Oh, yeah. We loving it up over here. So
nice. I
want to give a shout-out to my family and, of course, Storm.
Yeah, Storm, shout out to you. Rashad's a great guy. So you guys make sure that y'all do well. My son loved that, by the way. So hopefully he's watching. I know hopefully he's getting a nice little laugh out of that one. But, yes, Rashad is married to Storm now. So that's something we got to add for all the folks that watch the show. We have the inside jokes. So, yeah, we got to watch. We got to watch when we going on certain trips or doing anything because, you know, Storm, she'll just show up out of the clouds on you, Rashad. You know what I'm saying? You can't hide your cell phone from her.
Yeah, I can't be tripping anymore because, I don't want to. If you see me get hit with that lightning bolt, all of a sudden, possibly God, but it might be Storm.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. So let's go ahead and take our first break, and then we'll come back with the great Prunalysis for the 2017 Magic City Classic. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show. Thanks for listening.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hello, this is Brian Knowles, Associate Director of Bands at Miles College. and proud Tennessee State University grad and proud Alabama State University grad. And you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, thank you very much, and welcome back to the 90 Degree Show. Are you ready to dig in with the Prunalysis with our very own Rashad Waters, a.k.a. Prune Juice himself? So, Rashad, I will let you get the floor as we, introduce the topic. Magic City Classic, one of the great matchups with Alabama A&M and Alabama State University. Really quick about Alabama A&M, the Rogers brothers did their award ceremony yesterday, and they came out with all the voting. And I think we told folks last week, make sure you vote. We talked about that a little bit. Alabama and A&M got second in their voting for Band of the Year. I believe Southern won.
Really?
Yeah, they got second. JSU got third, but Alabama A&M had 14% of their vote. So people really went out there and got out and voted. Shout out to Brother Carlton Wright. He's the Bruz, Christy. If Christy's out, shout out to Christy out there listening, Christy. He also did a chopping it up with us. And we also want to talk to Mario Warren. I think Mario Warren also won a Ranger of the Year and their awards thing. So now we giving a little love to them and Alabama State. We talked about this very matchup this year. So Rashad, what is the Prunalysis for the Magic City Classic? Or I was trying to lead you in there. I just got all excited. So what was your breakdown of the Magic City this year?
You tossed it, and I just.
That's all good. That's all good.
Man, as I'm getting going.
That's all good. We got like second down, so we straight.
There you go. We'll get it this time. Real quick as we're getting going, man. I hope everything looks all right. I hope I'm not at a slanted angle. I'm doing it actually on my phone this time. This is my first time doing it this way because I'm a stickler for everything being right. And I noticed that most of the videos that we do, I look washed out on the computer that we've been doing before. So doing it on my phone, I know my phone has a better camera, so hopefully I look better. Hopefully, like I said, it's not at a crazy angle
you look
something
good.
Like that.
You look good, brother. You look really good.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate that, brother. Let's get into this thing. The Prunalysis, this is where I tell it like it is. I'm excited to get back into this again. We're going to start out with Alabama State University, okay? First of all, let me say this real quick. There may not be two bands in the SWAC that are any more different than each other, at least when it comes to matching up and there may not be any two bands that are more different than each other, at least when it comes to matching up, and also when it comes to their halftime battles. And you'll see that as I get through this. So we start out with Alabama State and that drum major entrance. Same thing as I said at the show we did before. Man, that was exceptionally hype. I love seeing it out there. particularly with the head band director out there. But even without him, the announcer was hype. The music was exciting. Them doing, all that type of stuff. I'm stiff, y'all. I'm stiff. Shoulders don't, Anyway, it was really, really exciting to see. And Alabama State's band directors, band staff often seem to be involved in the show. Like they've done "Step in the Name of Love" before. So hey, that's pretty cool. If I was band director at university, I probably would be doing that same type of thing. Put myself out there. Who knows? I want to know, was that a tuba that was screaming at the beginning of that whole drum major thing, or was the whole band playing? Because the tubas were so loud. I couldn't tell if the tubas was just so loud and you could just barely hear the band and you heard one baritone sticking out. It was a high note for a baritone. Or was that a tuba player that was just up in the stratosphere? I couldn't tell, but wow, pretty cool. All right, they went from there into their fanfare position, starting with what we call "You Can Hate Me Now," derived from Carmita Burana, which is a something. It's orchestral work, okay? So anyway, as I mentioned before, I did not like this at all. Carmita Burana is, da, 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 da. It's at 6/4 time and all that. Even if you're doing it 4/4 time, you can still pull it off. I don't know what this was, and there's no way that I would have even known that this was Carmita Burana or the introduction to "You Can Hate Me Now" without the announcer actually saying, "You can hate me now." This wasn't arranged very well at all. Here's the other thing about that. If you're going to do it that way and you don't know what it is, you absolutely have to go into "You Can Hate Me Now,"
right?
But I won't stop now. But they didn't do that. They just changed songs. So the whole introduction was just completely flat. It didn't make any sense at all. If it sounded like Carmita Burana or "You Can Hate Me Now," then it didn't have to play the second half. But I don't know. It just didn't work out for me. I just want to start out, say this real quick. This is something that was an issue throughout. Articulations, sustains, off. Not good at all. Sustains, notes were like they're choking the note short. Articulations are not together. Overall sound quality here is just not good at all. Okay, they went from their fanfare position and quickly formed hip hop on the field while playing Planet Rock. Now that was exciting to watch, and again, these last two comments are really going to sum up everything I have to say about them. That was very exciting to watch, but think about what I just said a second ago as far as articulations and sustains. Okay. Because here, articulations and sustains are very bad again. Notes are getting choked off at the end, which means that they're playing the note instead of take a breath to end the note. If you take a breath, then you won't at the end of your note, okay? So just work on that, guys. They went from there. It was pretty cool. They didn't really do a real drill. It was just real short that they got to Planet Rock, but I thought it was effective. They went from there into the Dance Girl song, which was Push It. Okay, I'm talking about the band first here. The trumpet part is very subdued in this, whereas the baritones were playing a rhythmic counter melody that was a lot more pronounced. And this is often a problem with Alabama State's particular brand of arranging. What tends to happen with them is that the trumpets are playing the melody, the trombones are playing chords, and the mellophones and baritones are doing something else. And with both of those instruments doing something else, the trumpets get left behind. Conversely, when I talk about that brand of arranging, if you look at Southern University, the trumpets are generally blended with another instrument. Maybe the mellophones, maybe the baritones are playing along with them, so that line is not lost. But here, sometimes that boom, boom, the baritones were playing was constantly drowning out the important part of the song, which is what the trumpets have. I liked it better though when that part went to harmony, and I liked the arrangement overall, particularly when the baritones rejoined the melody. I thought there was some really, really great energy from the dancers there. They were really getting their thing. Even when the girl lost her jacket, she threw that jacket off and she kept going, man. It was awesome. So I really loved seeing them there. Let me see here. Then from there, a great energy from Alabama State all throughout this point. Again, the show was very, very exciting. The music choices were very good. Playing, not so much. Okay, they went from there, and they very, very quickly got to the dance routine. I mean, they got to that dance routine. They did the double time there and got there in no time. Let me just comment on that real quick, because during the show we've spoken a little bit about bands double timing and they're borrowing things from Fam. Okay, they're not really borrowing things from Fam, but yes, they are. Okay, when they started doing that, yes, they clearly borrowed that whole technique from FAMU. But if you've been doing this for 20-something years, probably 30-something years, maybe 40 years, at some point it becomes yours. You know, so if a band is out there on the field double timing, when I'm looking at Southern, when I'm looking at Alabama State and other bands doing that, yeah, I'll give you props for doing that. I don't think that you're copying Fam. I think it's yours now to do. Just realizing that Fam did it first. Okay?
Right.
It was amazing how quickly that they got there. I mean, so I looked down for a second and boom, they're their dance routine. The dance routine was really good at the beginning. They had so much energy doing their moves and things, you know, shaking their heads and, you know, you know, hey. You know, they probably could have cut a song out. There was one where they were talking about, you know, put it in reverse. And it's like, you know, that song was kind of dead a little bit. But other than that, I thought the dance routine was really, really good. And then, here's what you've been waiting for. And then that was a really good transition to the Honeybees. I don't know what it really says about your band when you say, these girls are what you've been waiting for. I mean, it doesn't really say a whole lot about the band itself. You know, like, yeah, I know y'all have just been putting up with us as we play music and make some formations and things, but I know y'all really want to see these girls over here. That doesn't really say a whole lot about the band, but it worked as a transition to get the girls out there. We talked a little bit about their outfits during the 90 Degree show, and I 100% agree. These outfits were not flattering to the girls at all. We've seen the Honeybees a lot, and generally the uniforms that they wear, you know, look good. You know, they're larger girls, but hey, there's nothing wrong with a big girl. Nothing wrong with that at all. But just like anybody else, you need to wear things that look good on you. And these outfits definitely did not look good on them at all. And I have a pretty good idea that they did not try on these outfits as far as doing their dance routines. Mm-hmm. I just don't feel like they did, because when the girls came out and did their flips, these were the two girls that were the whole trip. I mean, the whole dance routine, Joe, you saw them trying to get their goodies in place.
Yeah, you remember Christy was talking about that. Actually, Christy and Bridget went in about that part of the show.
Well, you know, I'm not allowed to go in on
right. That's what I'm saying. We couldn't say nothing like that. I'm glad you put that out there, because, you know, I let the women, you know what I'm saying, they had put that, because, yeah, people would have been on us about that.
Exactly. But I definitely will say it doesn't look like they tried to mark for that, because as soon as they did those flips, they were having problems the whole rest of the time. So you got to get outfits that work for you. Okay. At the end of it, and I feel like I said this before, that somersault that they did at the very end was just not a very good exclamation point for the show. Like, that somersault was supposed to be, somersault, yes, yeah, and she just kind of rolled over a little bit. I mean, I can do that somersault. I can't do a somersault. If you see me do a somersault, it would look exactly like what she did. So, yeah, you need to work on that. But overall, man, it was a really exciting show, and I don't really recall what I said before. I was concerned about perhaps countering the things I said before, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to tell it like it is. The show was exceptionally exciting. A great energy. The crowd loved it. Everything from the drum major entrance, forget the fanfare, the making the hip-hop on the field, the dance girl song, the push it that they chose to play, the girls' jackets, getting to the dancer team very quickly. Most of the songs they chose to the dancer team, bringing the girls out. The Honeybees were okay. If the outfits had been better, then overall that would have been better.
Right.
The show overall was exciting. And if you really don't care, I hate that. This is going to sound bad. If you don't care about articulations and sustains and tone quality, if you don't care about those things, you really would have enjoyed Alabama State's show.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
If you do care about those things, you probably really wouldn't have enjoyed them as well. And to be real, it was really the type of show that show style band criticizers are talking about. You know, when these guys get on there and they say, "Oh, these bands," they you hear things like, "Oh, they did a great show. These bands are very entertaining."
These
This is the type
bands.
of thing that you're talking about.
Right.
They're very exciting, but from a musical standpoint, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, I know that, when we had the discussion about the guy that came up or that put out the thing on YouTube, I think he had Alabama's concert band and the links in like his description. He was like, "Oh, well, this is what I'm talking about, blah, blah, blah." He had that on there. Now, this is just something we're just highlighting because, again, this is just the technical breakdown of what we're talking about. But Alabama State puts on a show. You know what I mean? Last year, I know that you brought up how the director came out there and did something with the drum majors. I remember last year he came out on the hoverboard. You remember? And it got madhouse. So, you know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
it got madhouse both the times. So they are putting on a good show. Alabama State is putting on a good show.
Right.
But yeah, that's when people start then going to, if they didn't like the show or they don't like Alabama State, they start trying to go into musical concepts and all that stuff like that. And it's it's not knocking Alabama State. I'm just trying to put this out there for the listeners, but it's just a technical breakdown of what people are seeing. I also too, I want to ask you because I remember Bridget talking about them. About the honeybees, and we always talk about gimmicks because some of the gimmicks like get on my nerves. Do you think that the honeybees are gimmicks? Because right quick, I will say, I believe in this fifth quarter battle, the honeybees were in the stands. They performed in the stands this year. Do you think that the honeybees are a gimmick for that band?
Yes and no. A gimmick to me is something that you don't use all the time. It's something that you pull out every now and then. When it becomes something that you do all the time, it really starts to become a part of your show. They are now a part of the band. I'm not sure if it was that way when they first started. I'm not sure, but they're definitely now a part of the band. And so, yes, it's a gimmick to some extent because it's the point that it doesn't really matter what happened beforehand as far as the quality of the show. If the honeybees come out there and are very exciting, and it doesn't have to be the best show from them, as long as they're exciting and people think, "Oh, that was really good for a big girl." I'm not trying to say it like that, but that's where it is. If they feel that was good for a big girl, which they're better than that, okay, then it doesn't matter how well the rest of the band did. That is gimmicky, yes, but they are still a part of the band, and so yeah.
Yeah, they definitely pull out more crowd excitement. I'll say that. I know when we were at Jackson State, when I was at Jackson State, we had Wavy Dave, who was probably one of the greatest mascots of all time. If you guys Google Wavy Dave if you want to see him. But I know that he brought out the little baby tigers. And we would be literally in our drill, and the tigers would come out there and start popping and start humping the ground and doing all. People would be like, ah! And people went crazy. You know what I'm saying? They'd be like, oh, are they talking about our pinwheels? It's like, no, it's the little babies. And then they would run. And they run, and then they, run into the goalposts. You know what I'm saying? So that makes me always think of the honeybees. Like you said, it's part of the show. But yeah, there's a whole lot of debate about them. I know Bama State Style came out. Remember, it was on Lifetime, I believe, for a little while. And I don't know. I didn't get to see all the episodes, but there was like a little rivalry internal, if you will, with the honeybees and with the Stingettes. The Stingettes, and I believe that Bridget and Christy said that the Stingettes did pretty well, and I think that they're good too. But yeah, that one thing that definitely makes me think about the rivalry internally with the band, and if they're specifically a gimmick. Are there people out there saying, man, we need to get rid of the honeybees? Or are people out there saying, man, the honeybees is the best part of the show? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's what made me surprised when I saw them in the stands. And people said that they were in the stands this year. But I tell you, Rashad, man, if they keep showing up on the field and they be in the stands, they won't be the honeybees no more. Because they're going to start losing some weight, man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't going to be the same, man.
Right. So, we're going to have to cut you from the squad, honey.
Right. You losing too much weight. You know what I'm
honestly, that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a real possibility. If they lose too much weight, they could be too small for the squad, which is, I mean, that's a real thing.
Yeah. So overall, do you have anything else talking about Alabama State show? I think we can squeeze in but man, the clock just be running, man. Anything we can well, you know what? We could wrap up Alabama State, and then we'll come after the break, and then we'll talk about Alabama A&M, and at the very end, we can talk about the fifth quarter. So is there anything else that you want to talk about Bama State?
Nope, I have exhausted myself when it comes to Alabama State.
Okay, well, let's go to our break real quick, and then when we come back, we will talk about the great marching maroon and white, Alabama A&M, and how their halftime show was. And then after that, we'll get into the fifth quarter. So, again, thanks for listening to the 90 Degree Show, and we'll be right back after this break.
Your host, Joe Beard, and the 90 Degree Show will return in a moment.
Hey, this your girl, Casey Nesbitt, 2000 graduate of Jackson State University, crab of 1996 of the Sonic Boom of the South, 2002 graduate of North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University, Aggie Pride, also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, Fall 1997 Delta Pi Chapter, and you're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
The Marching Podcast Network is a network of podcasts with a purpose to inspire, educate, and show positive images in our community. Our network produces podcasts about college marching bands, business, health, finances, college preparation, spirituality, instrumentation development, along with one-on-one interviews with strong role models in our community. Looking for a podcast network that educates and inspires to make our world a better place? Then listen to us. Check out our website at themarchingpodcast.com. Tweet us at Marching Podcast or follow our blog at blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. The Marching Podcast, changing the world through positive interaction.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
And now, more of the 90 Degree Show with your host, Joe Beard.
All right, thanks again for listening, everyone. Really fast, before we get into the second part of our show, I want to let everyone know to contact Kevin Pete of Remax Patriots if you are looking to buy a home in the Southern California area. If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate, please contact Kevin Pete of Remax Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942, or you can email him at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's 951-858-5942, and KP, Kevin Pete, his initials, KP Sales Homes at sbcglobal.net. All right, let's get into the second part. Let's talk about the halftime show with the marching maroon and white Alabama A&M. Rashad, what did you think about them, man?
I'm glad you mentioned the time here, man, because during the show we got 2 minutes to say stuff. So as I'm going, I'm like, I can get this done in like 3 minutes. So I need to slow down, but then I don't want to go too slow. So
yeah, because we'll try to fit in the fifth. Yeah, we'll try to fit in the fifth quarter too.
All right. So Alabama A&M. We talked about this before. They started with bringing out the dude. Let them march. Let them march. That whole thing was so ineffective. It was just so ineffective. And you know what? Honestly, the director has to be in control of every aspect, of the show. So with this lady out there, her voice is just way too high pitched. And somebody should have told her that. Somebody should have been like, hey, listen, when you're doing that, that's cool that you're doing that. Bring your pitch down just a little bit. Because there was times when they did the dance routine, they're like, let them march, let them march. That sounded good. But when you're like, oh, it's just, it's horrible, particularly when it's coming through the speakers. That's something that should have been controlled and contained.
Yeah.
But as far as doing that at the beginning of the show and him falling over at the beginning, that was just ineffective.
Yeah, that's Bam
All
Bam.
right.
You guys can hashtag Let 'em March. That was Bam Bam, and that's Ira Coleman. He is the comedian, and JP Laughs is the comedian who plays his mom, Bam Bam's mom. So yeah, she got on the mic, and yeah, she's kind of hollering, "Get off my son!" And real quick, I know that you and I had the same feelings about, especially at this time, police and the brother man. Yeah. Just right. Don't show us nothing like that at halftime. You know what I'm saying? It kind of got, because I guess people weren't really laughing, and maybe a lot of people hadn't followed the show or followed his comedian, followed that. So yeah, that was kind of like you said. It just didn't turn out to be as effective as we all hoped it to be.
Exactly. They went from there, and the band marched into an opening formation. If you look carefully, you can see that one of the trumpet players in the very front did not start moving on time. It sticks out. It's not a huge mistake, but you can see it if you're watching there. The band stood. Now, here's my thing. Oh, my goodness. So they played Baby, We Can Do It. Baby, we can do it. Take your time. Do it right. We can do it.
Baby, do it.
It was great drill, but I swear, Joe, I feel like I'm yelling at the wind here, man, because they did it again. So what they did was they did the verse to the song, and they're marching in place, mark timing as we call it, facing the crowd, okay? And they're just giving the crowd all this sound. And then here we go, get to the part that everybody knows, baby, we can do it, right? Where y'all going, man? Gosh, I say this so often with so many bands. So many bands are doing it exactly the opposite way that they should do it. Nobody cares about the verse. Nobody cares about the verse.
Right.
What is the verse that Baby We Can Do It, Take Your Time, Do It Right? Nobody knows.
I couldn't be able to say
so
it. Right.
That's when you do the rotations and all that type of stuff. When you get to Baby We Can, that's when you turn face the front and crank on the crowd. Okay.
Right.
I said crank. I said it. Okay. Bands do better. All right. The marching looks very good. Very good. There was a difference there between them and Alabama State. They need a little bit more energy, though. There are some great bands that look excellent, but they put a little bit more energy. When you think about Norfolk State, I think, or Central, maybe about 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago, their marching looked great, and there was a lot of energy in it. And I just didn't see that energy in Alabama A&M. So put some more energy in it. That slow song there, we went to Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell. I'm not going to sing it. However, if you ever catch me on karaoke, I will be singing that song. Beautifully played. Fantastically arranged. Excellent. Wow. I really enjoyed it. You say Mario Warren was ranked #1 arranger in the nation?
Yeah, on the Rogers Brothers show, right.
He deserved it, man. It was fantastic. It was an excellent arrangement, man. I really enjoyed it, and they did such a great job of playing it. The introduction was unusual. I really liked it. I noticed that they're using the mellophones are using horn mouthpieces like we used to at Hampton. That was pretty interesting. And the announcer said, "What a real band sounds like." That was true, man. They sounded great. Did the crowd appreciate it? That's a good question, and that's going to get into my main point about Alabama A&M. Okay, they went from there and played "Under Pressure" by Boyz II Men, and I saw the girls come out and dance. From the video I was watching, the girls took more of my attention, more so than what was happening as far as the music was concerned. I really enjoyed seeing both groups of dancers, and this one really gave me an opportunity to look at the girls up close and see their different facial expressions. That was really cool, because when you're dancing, you're not supposed to be, keeping the same facial expression, but you're doing your move and look at this.
Right.
Oh,
Enthusiasm, right.
Doing these different things. That makes it interesting. They really seem to be having a great time. However, exclamation points again, when the last girl did the last back bend like that, it was back bend. No exclamation point on that. If you're going to hit the move, stick the move. You know what I mean? Don't just go back there subtly. Anyway, band sounded, here we got to the dance routine. Band sounded good. They brought out that young man again, and it was much cooler this time. To see him do his thing. Right, it was effective right then. However, seeing him get arrested was very distracting. Not just from the point I just didn't like seeing that, but also the band had moved on to something else. And then they're coming out there, and then the lady again did a great job starting out, but then it was so distracting. So please, if you're going to do that, just put it on there a couple seconds and keep it moving on. Here's the thing about the overall dance routine. They sounded really good, but they just didn't really have enough stank until the very end. Here's the thing about Alabama A&M overall. So you got perfect balance, and you got the perfect look. Once you have all these things in place, articulation, balance, control, phrasing, marching, once you have all these things in place, then you have, in show style bands, you have to push it just a notch, just a tad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's got to have a little bit of energy to it. Like when you listen to a jazz band sounds great, but they've got that little bit of extra edge to their sound that gives it that. And that was really the difference overall between Alabama A&M and Alabama State. Alabama State had so much energy and so much edge, but they just didn't have the tone quality. And they didn't have the control, and the marching didn't look as good. Alabama A&M looked so precise, and they sounded so good. But except for their very last song on their dance routine, they just didn't have the energy. So Alabama A&M just gets a little bit more, just a little bit more there. I think I gave the victory clearly to Alabama A&M last time. I don't know if I agree with that this time. Alabama A&M was clearly the better band. There's no doubt, hands down about it.
Right.
If you're talking about bandsmanship, musicianship, marching, all of those things, there's no doubt. But when it came to a more entertaining show, I kind of felt that Alabama State may have had the more entertaining show.
Yeah.
So Alabama A&M, we want you to be musicians, but we want you to crank that energy up a little bit more. Tell me when you're ready for the fifth quarter, Joe.
So yeah, I totally agree. I knew it's and it was always like when we started the show, it seemed like Alabama State was just like better than Alabama A&M, and then when Brother Wright got there, that changed. Brother Warren got there. They sound really, really, really good. And I know that's one thing that Bridget and Christy brought up when we talked about this, that they sound, because, of course, like there's the discrepancy in the debate about sound and instrumentation and all that. Alabama A&M, though in the SWAC, and though, I guess, in Crankland, if you will, you can hear the levels in all of their music. That's what I really, really appreciate about them. And they sound really good. I think, and ever since they've been there, I've always felt that they just sound better, and they've been on the come up. So now they're here, they're arrived. But I definitely think that as far as like the excitement and just maybe the little bit more Tabasco sauce, you know what I'm saying? They don't really have that as much. You know what I'm saying? Alabama State, I think they got, like you said, they got the Tabasco sauce. They got the entertainment, especially with the directors the last 2 years, or Dr. Oliver coming out there the last 2 years and got the crowd hype. They definitely have put on a good show. But, I'm halfway, I ain't gonna lie, I'm halfway biased to Alabama A&M just because of Brother Wright And you know, we done chopped it up with him, and I done talked to Brother Warren a couple of times, and I haven't been able to contact Bama State as much. But I did see their reality show. So shout out to them for having the reality show. But yeah, okay. I totally agree with you on that. Alabama State, you know, have more. They got more house. I guess that's just the overall bottom line. They got more house. But Alabama A&M, like you said, I believe that they are the better band. So let's get into the fifth right quick before we end the show. I think I gave props to both bands, and I really like this fifth quarter. And hey, it's a rivalry. Magic City Classic between these two HBCUs there. You know, you got to start adding in Miles and, you know, Talladega and some other Alabama A&M, or I mean some other Alabama bands coming on. But what did you think about the fifth quarter?
So the halftime show was like it's like you know, it could go either way, but Alabama A&M was clearly the better sounding band. This was not the case with the fifth quarter. In my opinion, Alabama State was clearly the better band in the fifth quarter. It really wasn't even close. And it was really a battle of philosophies is what it was, okay? And in that battle of philosophies, Alabama State is the winner. What I mean by that is this. These two bands play differently. They have very different visions. One band is what I call the unbridled passion band, which is basically put the horn to your lips, put as much air through the instrument as you can, and if you do it right, so much volume hits the human ear that it becomes hard to differentiate between the different pitches to determine if it's wrong or not. This is something that Southern does all the time. Southern is so loud, sometimes you can't tell that might not sound so good. Sometimes like, man, that sounds good. Right. Alabama A&M goes the much more difficult approach, the envelope bands, which is basically trying to play with balance and control and all that type of stuff. And they did not do as nearly an effective job as they at that. It's kind of like they're like, hey, we got a halftime show. Okay, we did a great job with that. We did our articulations, our balance and blend. Okay, we're in the stands now, so the heck with all that type of stuff. And it showed. You can't. You either have to be one or the other. You have to be an envelope band playing with balance and control, or you have to be an unbridled passion band. But you can't be in the middle. You can't sometimes play with balance and sometimes play with articulation, and sometimes cut off the notes at the right time, and that is exactly what Alabama A&M did. Articulations were not as clear, balance was not as good, trumpets were often getting drowned out by the rest of the band, versus Alabama State was just blowing. And it was sounding, for what they do, it sounded pretty good. And I know I don't have long, I'm just going to mention real quick, it's very interesting because the previous year, 2016, it was a clear victory with Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M just destroyed Alabama State in the fifth quarter in 2016. So it seems like Alabama State got their stuff back together and they were out for revenge. So good job to Alabama State.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a good rivalry. I'm excited to see them next year because like you said, one band might not have as much passion, but they sound good. The other band doesn't sound as well, but they have passion. I think they both recognize that, and next year I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what these bands do. I think they're going in the right direction, though. I think Alabama A&M is going in the right direction. But, yeah, like adding, like you said, a little bit more flavor, a little bit more Tonys. Right. Add a little bit more Tonys up in there. And then Alabama State, you know, adding more of that musicality, I think will be really, really important. So good job, Rashad. We will continue this conversation. You guys make sure you follow the Marching Podcast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We've come to the end of our show. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time, and very good job, Rashad. Outstanding. You guys make sure you go to blockbandmusic.com, follow them on Twitter, and we'll definitely be in contact more hearing from Block Band Music and the Marching Podcast. Thanks again, everyone.
And that's it for the 90 Degree Show for this week. Tune in next week with Joe Beard, where the